Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is another episode of The Truth Is. I am your informative counselor, Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist, Zombie Supreme. You like the song in the background? Good. Okay, it's called Turn Up. Let the music heal you. You can hear that on my SoundCloud, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. But today, of course, for those of you who are new, it's not about the EDM world. It's not about my brand. This is just me as a person talking about the things that interest me to talk about when it comes to the hard-hitting truth. And today's episode is no different. It's called Why Being Bad with Money is Not Your Fault, and Why You Overdraft Your bank accounts constantly till they cut you off. Okay? If you like what you hear today, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. The like button. Hit the subscribe button too. Okay, so you came here to find out why you're so bad with money and how to fix that. Number one reason why you're bad with money, because most likely the school system that you grew up in and had to participate in did not get you ready for real life. Did not get you ready for real life. Did not get you ready. They don't be teaching financial literacy here, at least in the United States schools, and I'm sure it's the same way across a lot of countries on purpose. Right, there's a common theme in capitalism. So they do not teach you this stuff in grade school. They don't teach you it in middle school. They don't teach you it in high school or college. Okay. Yeah, something that's been thousands of dollars and you are dead broke. Okay. On those college degrees, baby. You don't know what you don't know until you learn about it and then change your actions because you want a certain result. Right? They didn't teach you. Some of them may have taught you budgeting, but a lot of schools ain't teaching that. Okay? A lot of schools ain't teaching you why it's important to give your money an assignment. Not teaching you the changing shifts of the economy. They're not teaching you any of that. They teach you nothing. So you go out there and you start working your first job or whatever for a lot of us, and you get your paycheck and maybe you do it with your parents or whatever, but you want to go spend it on the latest. You want to spend on every single dollar that you got. You want to go spend it on, I don't know, food, tennis shoes, the latest electronic gadget or clothes that your favorite social media person or celebrity is wearing, whatever. Because your mind is just thinking about the wants, and it's rarely thinking about the needs. And that's what lands you into trouble, because an untrained mind that's not ready for the economy and the real world that it steps into by any capacity is a mind that is literally on a path of nothing but hardship, struggle, and destruction. Trust me, I know, because just like many of us, I was that person for a very long time, longer than I should have been. But the thing is, I knew that it wasn't my fault, and I also know that it's not most of your fault. Okay, because if you never got the information that you needed to get, and they were keeping it from you, right, then how was you supposed to know that there are levels to this game, right? And no matter where you're playing it from, whether you made $30,000 a year or $100,000 a year, learning the financial literacy that you need to learn in order to put the guardrails in place and the structure you need for your money changes everything. really when I started to get the financial literacy I needed and put the guardrails in place once I changed my mindset. Because by the time I found the information I needed to find, thank goodness to where the internet had came, and the people that decided to get on and teach stuff for free for the most part. I was already ready to receive the information because I was already tired of being dead broke. I was already tired of overdrafting my accounts. I was tired of being in the same cycles, thinking that I don't have enough money or whatever because of the employer or other things outside of myself. And even though some of those things actually are valid, once I started to learn some financial literacy, other things like YouTube and things and audiobooks and whatever, the way I handle my money changed. So even though I was making like, $30,000 a year or less, I was able to still keep my money while still spending money in strategic ways that I never actually went broke. So even though I was living paycheck to paycheck, I never was actually living paycheck to paycheck because of the knowledge that I was able to gain finally, right? Something I didn't see coming. One thing led to another, and I started getting more curious and learning more stuff, and before you know it, I was really handling that money, right? I had started having plans for my money. I started keeping track of that money daily, had a sheet for that money, had categories, knew how much I was spending, knew how much I was bringing in every month. I started becoming really anal about my money, and that does have its positive or negatives, but I think it's more of a positive if you're keeping everybody accountable when it comes to your money, people paying you on time, employers paying what they said they need to pay you, other people and all that stuff, because it literally saves your life. It can save your life from struggling really bad to only you're struggling, but you're not struggling really that much, because especially today, where we find ourselves in these economies, right? So it's not your fault that your bank account is overdraft all the time. It's not your fault that you owe the bank $300 because you were overdrafted and you just kept spending money that you didn't have, or you just didn't have enough when it came to your bills to actually live outside of what your bills may be, and all of that. Especially if you got kids, you trying to work on $30,000 a year, and not really gonna work out for you. It's a struggle. But once you learn this information, you can turn everything around. Now, some of you will have to keep a hole, dig yourself out of. Like me, I didn't really have like debt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really have debt. I wasn't taking out payday loans, and I did have some credit cards, not using the past. I stopped using credit cards for a while because I took the adage that, first of all, we declined for a lot of credit cards because our credit RAC score wasn't that great. Stores were trying to offer me credit. I'd be like, oh yeah, not knowing nothing about credit and how to use it still, because it wasn't being taught in schools. My parents were just as dumb, and my community that I was living around and born around or whatever was dumb as post about how to actually use this credit system. So, all of that, I just never used credit cards again, and once I learned how to use credit and all that stuff, things started to turn around for me. So it's really what you know in this case, and it's also who you know, even more important, that can teach you this stuff. And now maybe you need to know somebody in person. There's been people on YouTube that are strangers that are teaching this information for free. YouTube is not just for a bunch of entertainment, pop culture stuff. Not just for TikTok and watching cat memes and all this other stuff and whatever. And entertainers or whatever. People talk about entertainment. No, YouTube has become so much more. There's places like Audible, where people who are successful are actually giving information away a lot of times for free, but you gotta decide if you want to save yourself from barely keeping your head above water, if not keep or most likely drowning. You know what I'm saying? So yes, this is Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum set vocalist, Zombie Supreme. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you comment. What are your thoughts? What are you going through in your life, and how do you plan to attempt to turn the way you think about money around so that you're not always in the struggle seat, the deep struggle seat. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the notification bell. Yes, thank you so much. And also for my EDM Zombitron people, electronic dance music community, this is for you. Okay, if you haven't done it already, please, my social medias, yes. But for the rest of us here that are not of the electronic dance music community, we have one here for you. Sessionslive.com. This is for everybody. Sessionslive.com/Peyton3662. That's a platform where I go live. You can request your favorite song. You can get to know each other on live streamed. Cover songs can be played. Copyrighted music can be played and not struck down, which is great. And it's a really great time. It's really gamified. It's like Twitch for musicians, for those of you who are in the EDM community. Well, thank you so much. And that song in the background, once again, is on my SoundCloud. But I'll see you later on the next episode. Bye-bye.